For so long, I carried an ache I couldn't shake, a quiet conviction that I'd always be unseen. My heart was laid bare, exposed and vulnerable, yet she seemed oblivious to it. Each jab she tossed my way, cloaked in playful banter, carved away at my spirit. Did she know how deeply her words cut? Perhaps she did, and that possibility stung even more. I made efforts to voice my pain, to make her understand, but nothing shifted. I waited, perhaps too long, clinging to the hope that she'd finally see me for who I was. She wasn't always cruel. Her charisma could fill a room, drawing everyone in with a magnetic pull. But that glow often came at my expense, dimming my own light. She'd scoff at my thoughts, cut me off mid-sentence, or measure me against others I could never be. Each moment left me feeling smaller, my voice shrinking, my confidence eroding. I began to question my worth, wondering if I even deserved to be treated with kindness. The worst part? She seemed unaware of the wounds she inflicted. Or maybe, just maybe, she reveled in them. I still wonder. One evening stands out, a turning point etched in my memory. We were at a cozy gathering with her friends, and I'd rehearsed a story I wanted to share. A piece of myself I hoped might make her proud, or at least see me anew. But as I began, her laughter cut through before I could finish. She mimicked my speech, my gestures, the slight quiver in my voice. The room followed her lead, some chuckling, others shifting uncomfortably. Heat flooded my face, my stomach churned, and I wanted nothing more than to vanish. Yet I stayed, as I always did. That night, alone in the quiet, I replayed the moment over and over. A realization hit me like a quiet thunderclap. Why was I allowing this? Why was I pouring my heart, my energy, my time into someone who couldn't respect me? Deep within, a resolve took root. Something had to give. I made a choice, silent but resolute, to stop letting her words and whims shape my world. I'd no longer care about her opinions, her taunts, her games. The shift wasn't instant, but the moment I stopped seeking her approval, something stirred inside me. At first, it was small. I stopped forcing laughter at her cutting remarks, ignored her subtle barbs, and ceased bending over backward to suit her moods. I began to live for myself, reclaiming pieces of me I'd buried for years. Slowly, she noticed. It was almost mesmerizing to witness. She'd always assumed she held the reins, thriving on the control she wielded over me, believing I'd always be there to bend. But as I withdrew my devotion, as I stopped craving her validation, the balance shifted. Suddenly, she was the one reaching out, checking in, offering compliments she'd never bothered with before. She began to listen, truly listen, when I spoke. It was as if she was seeing me for the first time, her treatment of me softening into something new. The shift was surreal. The woman who once treated me as insignificant was now scrambling to earn back the respect she'd never offered. I could sense she felt it too, the weight of her past actions now undeniable. She realized my patience wasn't endless, that I'd drawn a line. A new dynamic emerged, tinged with surprise and something like longing. She'd taken my loyalty for granted, but now she saw I valued myself, and that changed everything. What struck me most wasn't just her transformation, it was mine. I felt vibrant, steady, alive in a way I hadn't in years. I learned a truth that anchored me. No one can diminish you unless you let them. By refusing to let her words define my worth, I'd reclaimed my strength. The irony was almost beautiful. The less I cared about her approval, the more she seemed to care about me. But this wasn't about control or spite. It was about demanding dignity for myself. Over time, her behavior reshaped entirely. She became thoughtful, warm, and considerate in ways I'd never thought possible from someone who once saw me as lesser. She learned, sometimes awkwardly, to treat me as an equal, to value my emotions, to see me for who I was. And I realized I no longer needed her, or anyone, to affirm my value. Reflecting on it now, I'm struck by how a single shift in perspective can rewrite the course of a relationship, even a life. The person who once overlooked me, belittled me, underestimated me, came to cherish me. And I didn't beg or plead for it. I simply stopped letting her dictate my joy. This isn't a tale of triumph or retribution. It's about the moment you decide you're worthy of respect, that your emotions matter, that no one has the right to make you feel small. That choice changes everything. Sometimes, those who once dismissed you will see what they've lost and begin to view you differently. If you've ever felt unseen, undervalued, or taken for granted, hear this. The power to change it lies within you. Stop chasing the approval of those who diminish you. Stand tall, know your worth, and watch as the world, and sometimes even those who hurt you most, begins to see you anew. The strength has always been yours. You only need to claim it.